In the early 2000s, something amazing happened. Scientists discovered 24 character strengths that make up our personality. And apparently, everyone, including you, possesses all 24 character strengths in different degrees, of course. What are these character strengths and how important are they? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, thank you for watching Let's Talk Parenting. I'm Veronica Kasongo Fruitful. I really appreciate you and I want to say thank you for continuously watching my program. This channel is all about bringing us information that can help us to succeed as a parent. And my prayer today is that as you watch this, you are going to learn something, just one thing that you can apply on a daily basis that will make a significant difference. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so and share this video. Have you ever wondered what is parenting all about? I mean, sometimes, just sometimes, when you make a mistake, do you ever ask yourself, what am I supposed to be doing? I certainly have. And it reminds me when I was young, I remember I was I was told I was really good with kids. My mom told me a story about how apparently when my niece, my first niece, was born, she was about 5 months and I must have been about, I don't know, 7, 8. And she was crying and her mom couldn't get her to stop crying. And apparently I went up to her and I just took the baby, she was quite heavy, and I put her on my back, wrapped her around, and I rocked her up and down and rocked until she stopped crying and fell asleep. Talk about determination. So, my mom said I was really good with kids, and I think I automatically thought that when I have my own kids, I was going to be so good at this job. It was going to be easy peasy. But I soon learned that parenting is not always what it looks like. And after I had my kids, at first, I have to say that my methods of parenting was a bit strict. And it was all about do as I say without asking questions. But over time, I'll say that I did learn different ways of doing things. I learned to communicate better. I learned to set boundaries. I even learned how to get them to listen, which I'm really looking forward to sharing with you guys. So, the reason why my parenting was so strict and tight at first is because that is what I had seen, and so that's what I had learned. When you think about the way we parent, most of what we know is based on what we have seen in our environment. So parenting is massively influenced by culture. Culture dictates a little bit the way we do things. And in some cultures, depending on how they see children, it influences the way that they will raise their children. In some cultures, they might see children as people who are just being born to help their parents. So the way they're going to parent that child will be different to the way that we are doing it. And in today's society, the way that children are being raised is so different to, let's say, 70 years ago, where I learned that children from the age of 12, even 11, were allowed to go to work in factories. In today's day, that's illegal. So how do we know we're doing right by our kids in the way that we're raising them? Well, for me, I always use Jesus as my reference. Now, before you turn me off, let me explain. You see, Jesus was so different to everyone. He behaved differently to everyone around him. When he was on earth, he chose 12 people to be his disciples. He took on the role of teaching them how to live life, showing them the way. So this tells me that my number one role as a parent is to teach, is to show my children the way. If you read the book of Proverbs 22:6, I love this scripture. It says that train up a child in the way that he should grow. So when he's older, he will not depart from it. I'm paraphrasing here. But so it's talking about us teaching our children the way to live life so that when they get older, they won't lose their way. If you look at the way that Jesus did it, he always set an example. He practiced what he taught. So again, it's about modeling. So that tells me that I am to model the behavior that I want to see in my children so that they can follow that same way. There's a really good quote that I once read that says, "Do not worry that your child doesn't listen to you, but worry that your child sees you," because our behavior has more of an influence in our children than the things that we say to them. Second, Jesus' disciples were imperfect people. They were not the kind of people you would expect Jesus to hang around with. I mean, take a look at Matthew, for example. He was a tax collector. And back in those days, people didn't really like tax collectors very much because they were dishonest people. I don't think people still like tax collectors today. I mean, just think of the last time you had to call the Inland Revenue. They're tax collectors. Anyway, back to my point. So Jesus's disciples were imperfect people. And if you read the Bible, I've never come across anywhere in the Bible where Jesus spoke negatively to them. He was mean and unkind to them when he was correcting them. In fact, he did the opposite. He was always trying to build them up, prepare them, because he was not always going to be around them. Eventually, he was going to leave them and they would have to be strong enough to continue the journey without him. So this tells me that one of my role as a parent is to build up my children. What am I building? Their characteristics, so they will be able to continue without me. And while I'm doing it, I'm making sure that I'm watching to not use unkind or mean language as I'm teaching them. According to the VIA Institute of Character, there are 24 character strengths that each of us are born with. So we are talking about things like kindness, perseverance, gratitude, gentleness, leadership, self-discipline, hope, faith, humility, and so many others I don't have time to mention. But each of these character strengths, we are already born with them, but they don't manifest automatically. With the help of the adults around the children, that is how they learn to build on their character strengths, so that when they get older, they can be more independent and able to get on with life and live a healthy, successful life without us. I read online what the role of a parent is, and this is what is said. So the role of a parent is to provide encouragement, support, and access to activities that enable a child to master key developmental tasks. I really like this because it's suggesting that my role as a parent is to assist my child through encouragement, helping and supporting them so that they can have access to things that will help them to develop and become a healthy, functioning adult. And over the coming weeks, I want to share some tools and tips of how we can help our children to build their characteristics so they can grow and become independent, functioning adults without your help. So keep on watching, keep being consistent. And I'm going to do a couple of more videos that's going to share with us a couple of things that we can be doing as parents to help build our children's characteristics. I hope you found this video really, really helpful. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and just share this video with others. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great week. Bye.